As part of the technology agreement that farmers sign when they purchase Roundup-ready soybeans, a genetically engineered variety of glyphosate-resistant soybeans produced by Monsanto, they may not plant and may not transfer to others for planting any seed for crop breeding. Research our generation of herbicide registration data. This might be surprising for some people who are unfamiliar with the hold that Monsanto and other biotech companies have over their product. But what might actually surprise people more is to realize that scientists too are prohibited from simply walking into a store or a farmer's shed and leaving with the material to study one of the most common agricultural plants in the United States. Indeed, 93% of soybeans grown in the US are genetically modified. Seeds fall out of trucks, volunteer in subsequent crops, and are piled up in high-grain elevators along our country roads. Soybeans, soybeans everywhere, and not a seed to study.
Genetically modified organisms may have been developed in laboratories by scientists in places like Berkeley, but make no mistake, they're owned by very large corporations. Monsanto and DuPont now own something like 47% of the seed supply in this country. The real benefit of GM to these companies is really the ability to control the genetic resources on which humankind depends. It is like putting a barcode on every plant. You can tell if it's your plant in the field, and farmers are forced to sign contracts forbidding them from saving seed and forbidding researchers, by the way, from studying these crops. So. And this is perhaps my biggest objection to the technology. I'm not persuaded there is a health threat attached to GM. I think we still need to do a lot more work on that question. But what I know and don't need to be persuaded of is that this represents a whole new level of corporate control over our food supply.
So this means that all the information about these seeds, and in turn the food they produce, have on the individual that consumes them, the effect these seeds have on the entire ecosystem, comes entirely from the companies that stand to profit from them. They provide the funding and therefore focus of the research. A proverbial wolf guarding the chicken coop.
We need to keep in mind that the company that is making the GM crop to try and make money out of it, they are the people that do the safety assessments. And I think there's a problem in that, as we found with tobacco and asbestos industries, etc., and even pharmaceutical industries. You often don't know what the real effects of that might be on someone until independent people do the safety testing.
Researchers who have preserved and in the end reported results that might damage a company's bottom line have often been refused further access to seeds or other materials. They also face coordinated attacks on their published work, well beyond what most academics experience during the normal give and take of a scientific critique. Often their work is discounted for the deficiencies in methodology, such as lack of the most appropriate control plants or reagents. At the same time, they were denied access to these materials. All of this combined with the declining independent research dollars has impeded the work needed to really demonstrate how safe and reliable genetically modified foods are.
I think we have really shortchanged research in the problems, in the precautionary approaches that we should have taken at the beginning. And I think it is time to start with that research now.